Reggie here, your friendly neighborhood bodybuilder and comic book collector, and I want to welcome you to another one of my videos. In this video, I am finally going to show those of you out there that have been asking me for some time to show some of my favorite comic book covers. And the list might actually surprise you. If you want to see, stay tuned to the video. So I am here in the comic book room and I'm ready to show you guys some of my favorite comic book covers. What I decided to do for at least this video is to only show you those covers that are my favorites that are actually slabbed. The slabbed comics are a little bit easier to handle, and some of my favorite raw books are actually at CGC right now, and so this was just an easy way to be able to show you some of my favorite covers. And like I said in the intro, there might actually be a couple of surprises. What I tried to do was to actually limit it, yes, to the slabbed comics, but I also tried to limit it to basically 10 covers to make it, to make the video go a little bit faster. So what I'm going to attempt to do is to show you each one of the books and to be able to kind of explain and articulate what it is about this particular comic that landed it on my list. So that is my goal, and I hope that it provides folks with a little bit of insight into what it is that I like. And if this video proves to be popular, I'll probably do some additional videos where I might look at some of my favorite Amazing Spider-Man, some of my favorite Raw comics, right? I am definitely open to people's suggestions, but let's go ahead and get started with this list. So the first book is probably to no one's surprise, an Amazing Spider-Man book. There's actually a couple in this stack. Which is just, it's par for the course with me, right? You have to come to expect that the decks will be stacked in favor of Spider-Man. So this first book is actually a lower grade book. It was one of the comics that I actually picked up as part of a very large auction purchase when I first came into comics back at the beginning of 2018. I picked up a ton of ASM, a ton of Avengers books. You're actually going to see another one of those Avengers books here in just a moment. The book was never cleaned or pressed. I basically was slab happy, as you guys have heard me talk about before. Picked the book up and sent it in, and it actually came back. I actually had two copies. One of them came back lower and I sold that one off, but I kept this one and I hope to be able to upgrade this book at some point in the future. It's not really a priority, to be honest with you, but I just love the book. It is Amazing Spider-Man number 100. And the question becomes, why? Why do I love this book? What I think is really striking about this book is Spider-Man on the cover. And he is outlined in yellow. And yellow is a color that I really like on comics. But he is basically set against a black background. And it's not just a plain background. It's actually a background that is comprised of essentially the community of heroes and villains and background characters that support Spider-Man. And to me, that's what makes this character really special, is that it's not just about Spider-Man and Peter Parker, it's also about all of these other people that are around him in his personal life and also in his life as a superhero. And so this is one of those covers that to me is just striking because it's beautiful, but it also has some real meaning behind it, at least to me. So Amazing Spider-Man number 100. The next book is kind of like a continuation, and I actually didn't plan this out. I just kind of stacked the books, and I'm making this up as we go along. But this next one kind of falls in line with something that I was just talking about in terms of the characters that surround Spider-Man. It's part of what makes that character really special. And one of the characters that I actually like, not one of my favorite characters, but one of the characters that I like that is part of Spider-Man's rogue gallery is Doc Ock. And this book, from the moment I saw it, was a book that just resonated with me. It's this idea of this up close and personal view of Doc Ock's face, but it's also the fact that you can see like the anger and the dislike in his eyes as he, in his face, I should say, as he stares at Spider-Man. You can actually see the reflection in his glasses or goggles or whatever these things are of Spider-Man caught up in Doc Ock's arms. And so I absolutely love Amazing Spider-Man 55. It is one of those covers that you've seen other people recreate, like Alex Ross has done it recently with Captain America and Spider-Man, Incredible Hulk. I think there's a couple of other face covers that he's done. I like those, but I really love this one. This book to me is just a really, really striking book that really just focuses on the fact that Doc Ock won. What more is there to say? Cool book, Amazing Spider-Man 55. This next book is it's a special book. It really is a special book. And there may be a lot of people out there that are watching this video that won't know the background on this particular book that I'm about to show, because the channel has grown tremendously over the last, 6 to 8 months or something like that. And this project that I actually started working on was something that I did a while ago, long before the explosion of the channel. And so the project that I undertook was I basically had two comics, two blank sketch cover variants that I decided to send out across the country to basically other YouTubers, people that I had interacted with, people that I knew that were creating videos, folks that I was actually watching on YouTube. I sent this book out to one and they forwarded it on to another, and so on and so forth. And as the book went from one side of the country to the other and then back again, each one of the recipients basically signed the book and or decided to sketch on the comic as well. And I did not see it. From the moment that the book left my hands, I never saw the comic until it actually came back to me. Let's just technically say the two comics until they came back to me. And it was quite striking. I ended up basically giving one copy of the book back to the comic book community, and I kept one copy for myself. I kept Fantastic Four #1, 9.8. It came back qualified. But what you can see here, hopefully, is all of these wonderful sketches and signatures that were placed on this comic by members of the comic book community, and just fantastic sketches that were done. There's guys on here like DS Comics and The Boy Who Had Seven, JD JoJo Pop Docs is who she is, Comic Crypto Stock, Bueller is on here, Alex the Comic Hoarder, Thanatos, RB3 is on here, Tony Sanders. It's just a ton, from Heroes to Icons, Backseat Driver, a really awesome guy. Just a lot of really fantastic people that were part of what I think was a really, really cool project. And it is a comic book that I will cherish for a long time because it was just a really fun project to work on. So shout out to everybody that participated in this and signed. There were 16 names and 8 sketches is what CGC said on here. 16 names, 8 sketches written on front and back cover in marker is what they said. So shout out to CGC. This next book, X-Men #50, just gorgeous. There really isn't a whole lot to say about this book other than Steranko is a talented man. This is a striking cover. That, again, another book that as soon as I saw it, I just had to have it. I'm not even a fan of the color green, but it's just a gorgeous book. And I prefer to look at it as a yellow cover versus a green cover, but it is an awesome comic. And I am a fan of Steranko and specifically of X-Men #50. The next book is actually a modern book. This is a book that just came out not that long ago from the folks over at IG Comic Store. Yep, and it was an exclusive from them, Virgin Edition. This was one that I cleaned and pressed and sent off myself, came back at a 9.8. This is Silver Surfer Black #1. Just look at it. This cover is so striking. I used to actually be a bigger Silver Surfer fan as like a kid. I remember like actively buying Silver Surfer comics and got away from it. But this Silver Surfer Black series, I really enjoyed it. I haven't read it recently, but I was really enjoying it. I enjoyed the artwork, and I absolutely enjoyed this fantastic cover from the folks over at IG Comic Store. This next book, Another Amazing Spider-Man. There's a couple of more here. A couple of more. Stacked deck, I admit. The book's in here because the cover's just sexy. I don't know. I mean, it is what it is, right? It is the Black Cat. It's Amazing Spider-Man 607. Just a gorgeous cover. I don't think I need to say anything more about that. So we'll set that one off to the side. This next one is a really cool book. This is a really cool book that I actually had an opportunity to pick up from my comic shop. And I picked it up because there was a con that I was going to go to, my first real con as like an adult. And I was only going to go because one man was going to be there. There was one man that was able to get me to a con, and that was Mr. Stan Lee. And I picked this book up from my comic shop. It arrived. I literally unboxed it, went to sleep, woke up, took the book, had it signed, and left it with a facilitator to actually get it signed by a second artist, that being John Romita. But I witnessed Stan Lee signing this book at the Silicon Valley Comic Con. It was sent off with a facilitator for 6 months, 5 months or something like that to get a signature from John Romita Sr. And it finally came back to me. I lost a half grade from a 7.5 to a 7.0, but I don't care because I was able to get 2 awesome signatures and meet one of my favorite creators. This is also just a gorgeous cover, right? I mean, that is part of the reason why I selected this book to be signed. It is a gorgeous red cover featuring my favorite character, that being Spider-Man. Spider-Man no more. The next book, there's a little bit of a theme here. We're on a little bit of a theme here with the red covers. This is another book that I actually picked up as part of a major auction win back at the beginning of 2018. And this is just a really striking cover. It is the first Silver Age appearance of the Vision. And it is just another striking comic. Avengers number 57, Behold the Vision. Absolutely love this cover. And definitely pleased to have this in the collection. This book was also not cleaned or pressed. And I think it could actually benefit from one. Might be able to get it up to a 7, 7.5 or something like that with a clean and a press. I mean, I can see for a fact the backside of the cover is very dirty. I literally bought the books, super slap happy, sent it in. Didn't see the value in cleaning and pressing books because I was still trying to understand like this whole slabbing thing, to be honest with you. And wish that I'd gotten it cleaned and pressed because, again, it might actually be a 7, 7.5, if not a little higher, you know. But live and learn, right? I still haven't ever cracked a book and sent it in to be regraded outside of that Amazing Spider-Man 50, and that was not about trying to get a higher grade. It was about trying to capture some really awesome signatures and then get it cleaned and pressed. And it was also, you know, the ASM book was a little bit later, i.e. more recently than was the Avengers book. So this next book is just a super creepy book. Super creepy. The moment I saw it, I was like, you are mine. You are coming home with me. It is Amazing Spider-Man $7.99, an exclusive variant from Comic Mint. It's a virgin. Just creepy. It is such a creepy, gorgeous cover all at the same time. It is really just awesome. And this book has fallen in value from the time that I actually picked it up as I picked it up from them as a CGC 9.8 slabs book. So I paid a price for that. And the book has actually come down. But to be honest with you, book's still really cool. Still a really cool cover. So, and then the very last book that I have in the stack here comes from another legend, right? We've seen some Stan Lee, some John Romita. Now we're going to see some Kirby. This is one of my favorite covers. It's just an iconic cover, and I had a commission done recently. I think many of you may have seen it. A young artist, Seabird, he goes by Seabird Studios on Instagram. I actually had him do a commission for me in the style of Jack Kirby, in the style of this cover. Why? Because it is a dope cover. It is Fantastic Four number 49. Again, just a striking cover featuring the FF. I have grown to appreciate the Fantastic Four and I've grown to appreciate Jack Kirby, but just a really, really cool cover. This is actually one of my favorite story arcs, 48, 49, 50, the Galactus trilogy. I thoroughly enjoy it. Have 2 sets of each. Two of my 50s are actually en route to CGC right now to be graded. Can't wait to get that back, and I can actually put up 48, 49, and 50 on the wall because the 50s were only raw, so they'll be slabbed now, and I'll be able to put the whole trilogy up. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. So there you have it. That is essentially my breakdown of 10 books in no particular order that are some of my favorite slabbed covers. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. And if you enjoyed the video, I definitely want to encourage you to give it a thumbs up. If you have some suggestions for me, if you want me to do this again, maybe doing raw books, maybe doing Amazing Spider-Man, maybe doing, I don't know, my favorite covers, my favorite story arcs, whatever it is, let me know what your thoughts are. I'm definitely receptive to your suggestions. And if you need me, don't hesitate to reach out to me on Instagram at RegieCollects.